light, dog. I think it's light.
Well, all right. Well, hello.
Y'all.
Welcome. Yes, we're gonna wait a few minutes. Everybody get on in and play this song. I think it's apropos for the night. So you guys that come in and watch it the next day, you'll see like a fresh show. The people that come in live, they'll make it the song or not. But we're playing this particular song because people have to really respect people's walk, you know? You have to respect people's change and evolution. So we're gonna start off with that. Paisley, Ephraim, and Peasy. Respect change. Yeah. It ain't happen overnight. Huh?
Take a walk in my shoes, size 9, take a peek in my mind. Dig a little deeper, see what you find. This is my past a second, travel through town. Uncut the whole truth for me.
Whole truth.
Father, I ain't who I used to be.
I ain't who I used to be.
A lot of women. In the morning, I'm with that one. Evening time with that one. But at nighttime, I'm with this one. Foul with it, like a player, felt proud with it. Low down and roguish, bout to buzz hell wide open.
Yeah.
Heavy fornicator.
I know.
Smoke weed, drink liquor. Grams on a scale, plastic bag with a pistol. Small time drug dealer.
Small time. It's a song.
Taught me better too. Jump up out my sleep to sin, fell in love with pleasure. Middle school, skip class, high number.
Hey, Mama Wesley in the building. Hey, Monique Mama's in the building. Hey, Mama. How you doing?
In the first grade, stole the candy pack with the toy inside from
We all change. Respect our change.
No reincarnation, real change, transformation, respect change.
Yeah.
Be converted, have your mind renewed.
Renewed.
Track, that's what I refuse. Your nose up, looking down like you ain't done nothing wrong. He without sin, cast
The first stone.
Respect change. Be converted, have your mind renewed. To backtrack, that's what I refuse. It's a war in the spirit, we need spiritual help.
Need spiritual help.
Label me, consider thyself.
Consider thyself before you label me.
I was around the crib, I was around the gates. I speak to females up front. So I get around the page. Look out, please, keep it real, man. I know we had some side on my verse. We don't watch language. We don't compilation side dishes.
Yeah, we compilation side dishes. Watch your language.
Going outside.
Real talk, real talk. That's that Hebrew talk.
Get running from the blood like flies. This guy was my
Day 66.
but I never
That
thought I
life
was
shot came
when I
from
was a pharmaceutical
Dr.
get
That shot
money.
fear, date, and
Yeah, that
night.
wasn't
Yes,
no
I have none of
and
them.
God, I had a convert. Was out of pop lock on me, and I came out a new person. I picked up the mic, get on the beat, and give the people my testimony. That's new me, cause I used to get jammed up and never give the people my testimony. Real Judas sticking to the script, my script, not fiction, no fairy tale. Can't judge you, cause I know me, and where you at, I know where. Suicidal love tracks. See, I be cutting my own self with the victim Judas like an all-white jury, so I examine my own self.
Respect change.
I examine my own self way before anybody else. That's when you're walking as a Hebrew. You are constantly refining and asking the Most High, am I on my right path? Am I changing properly? Am I receiving these situations in love? Am I responding in kind? Yes. You gotta respect change before you. Yes.
Back to wanna be a baller. No Rockets gang. Never had a job but kept work.
Kept work, never had a job, y'all know.
The fruits of vexing was off the chain. I used to sip syrup, kept a Coke bottle in my locker, man. Caught my brother down bad and passed the period and boxed him, man. My testimony in my neck was
Yeah, 7 walls. Used to be. The Most High, y'all. A higher, sure, a higher.
Yeah.
Real name.
Destroy for lack of knowledge and wisdom.
Destroy for lack of knowledge, wisdom.
Now I condescend to a lower state. I can't knock you, man. I played a solid role. Recent sisters say they don't need a man. Brothers puffed up, full of pride, like they don't need a hand. Drive on so dehydrated, man. We need the rain. Kwame Yasha, I look the water out, but we need respect change.
Yes. How we need.
So backtrack, that's what I refuse.
Backtrack, I refuse.
You ain't doing nothing wrong. He without sin cast the
First stone.
Respect change.
He without the sin throw the first stone.
That's what I refuse.
Respect change.
In the spirit, we need spiritual help. Before you label me, consider thyself.
Yes, before you label me, consider thyself. Woo!
Yeah.
Ahaya, assure ahaya. Welcome to the Hebrew state of being. And we are your humble host and servants for the night. I am Kyle.
And I am Oba.
Yes, we are in the building and got a
Live.
great show tonight. As you saw by Miss Artist Sharonda, Art by Sharonda. Check out the new website, artbysharonda.com. We are letting the Ruach lead us tonight. That is the premise of the convo, as Peasy alluded to. Yes. So we got a couple of topics that we're going to get to tonight, though. One, impersonating Most High's people. Now, when you look at it on one hand, you say, if they're impersonating me, that's not really a issue for me per se. They're the sad person. They gotta be like us, right? Sort of. You think that would be your first response,
If they were impersonating you for good.
Right, if they're impersonating you for good, you say, well, I'll take the fanfare. Yeah, you maybe.
But when they're saying black on black crime,
And it's not you, but
how
yes.
could you impersonate that?
How can you impersonate that?
That's strange.
Yes.
Or is it?
But you know what they say often, life is stranger than fiction. Right? Right?
Yes.
Life is stranger than fiction. So, we have in Chicago, right, this situation of all of these deaths, right? Now, a lot of people have seen this on the gram, on Facebook, on YouTube, talking about Chicago and white men putting on black masks.
When you say black mass, like film industry standard costuming mask. So the mask looks and feels like real skin. It's like a real mask. So it's not I went to Costume City and picked up me a costume. Oh
Right,
no.
right.
This is what you find in major motion pictures. Movies that you go to the movie theaters to go and look. So these are special effects
Yes.
in terms of the what they're going about.
Right, so we're saying that in Chicago, it has been proven that, I'm not going to say all Caucasians, some Caucasians, I'm sure not just Caucasians be doing it, but some Caucasians were wearing black latex face and hands. So when they put this latex mask on, they look like they were a black person. Yeah. And then they have the gloves to go on, to go with it to show black hands, and they're committing crimes with this face on. One particular case, the woman actually ID'd the masked white man as her child that was black. Yeah.
Cops came by her crib. She was like, "Yeah, I know. That was my son.
Yeah.
Her son's sitting in jail because she identified him as being the one that robbed the bank."
Yes. So
Work with that.
the mask looks real enough for a mother
A mother.
to misidentify her son in a lineup, in a jail lineup.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull a video up as we're talking about it. But we have a script that we're going to go to explain that. My brother, would you go to Deuteronomy
Yes, indeed.
61? Now, we all agree that in Scripture, in the Torah, that the Most High says his people would be cursed. The Jewish people of today, they say they are those people because they have gone through these curses of Deuteronomy 28. My brother's going to read a particular one, Deuteronomy 28:66,
Oh, yes.
that refers to this Caucasians wearing these masks.
Yes, indeed. Deuteronomy 28, verse 66. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm sure a lot of us in New Orleans are familiar with that feeling. We don't have as many of the bad instances of police killing our kids here because our streets are doing it themselves and the cops get away with it because our cops have been so corrupt in this city. I mean, if y'all don't know the police are corrupt in this, I don't know what I don't know what to tell you. I don't even know how to even go into that. You know, we want to have the best. You know, we want to be positive about our police force. But it's hard when you see the symbols on their car and you've been reading and you understand what those symbols are past what they tell you it means. When you notice that the symbols on the police cars are the same as the Turkish flag,
Interesting.
and the Turkish, their flag has particular meaning of that star and that crescent. They tell you that the city's in a crescent, but the city's not really in a crescent. When you look at it from the river and the city is not in a crescent. We're only at the top of the circle that has the Lake Pontchartrain in it.
Yeah.
If we were the entire curve of that, then we would be a crescent. But we are at the north part of that, and then we are around the river that falls into the Pontchartrain. So,
A lot of made up stuff.
the crescent doesn't really match the police thing, but they tell that to you. But I digress. So we're going to go into this one video right quick. I'm going to flip it around because I want you to see this. I have not seen the full one, but you should. This would be good enough for you.
Check it out, y'all.
Move this menorah on the
Gets real.
side. Pop y'all with this right here. Y'all right there.
Who else other than me could bring you the fake black man mask? Behold, this is a mask. This is a mask, y'all. This is not a black man. This is actually a mask. It's a cover-up mask, and he would fool you, right? That nose will fool you, right? That'll fool you, right? He can stick you up and you'll blame a black man, right? Black man, fake black man mask. Fake black men mask at eBay. But there's more. Now let me read this to you. Brothers and sisters, take a look at the images below. These are silicone masks that look like black and Hispanic men. White men are going into black neighborhoods wearing these masks and committing crimes including murder, and they're blaming it on black and Hispanic men. These masks are sold for up to $500. I have a suspicion that a lot of these murders in Chirac and other places are being committed by white police officers. The murders in Chicago are not being committed by blacks, y'all. Let's take a look at these pictures, y'all. how they doing us. That's how they getting us out of here. That's how they doing us. That's how they doing us, huh?
That's the one right there.
Is this what the fake Leonoris wore? Mm-hmm.
What I'm wearing right now is a dermal synthetics Derek mask, and it fits great, as you can see. I don't have any makeup on under my eyes right now, but I am wearing my contacts, and have a nice shiny bald head. The other things that are really new are these. And this is a smaller version of the normal gloves from CFX, and they were able to skin match the color of the mask to the gloves.
Yeah, so we do not watch my man Umar Johnson for anything.
Lies. Mr. Mars for days.
So we basically want to show you basically we wanted to show you that, right? So when you look at the fact that in that last video that was being shown, I'm sorry if you didn't, guys, the volume wasn't up wasn't up enough, but basically the last video was a Caucasian inside of that mask with the white sweater. And he was saying a new thing from CFX was the hands with the watch, matching sweater. You can see if he's far enough away, as you could tell, you could not see that it was not aligning underneath. And but he said he didn't have his makeup on, but he did have the contacts in. So they can put contacts in to match your brown and black eyes. Also wear little brown, black, you know they love blackface. And then throw the mask on and look like an actual Hebrew. Now, the reason why this is, most alarming is because there was the case that we were speaking about where a guy went around robbing banks
Over
with this
10
mask.
banks. Over 10 banks.
He robbed 10 banks
Over 10 banks.
and only got caught because his girlfriend got mad and she turned him in. Because as we said, there was already a man in jail for the crime that was fingered or ID'd by his mother. This mask looks so much like this woman's son that she ID'd him in the lineup.
Yep. She's probably not the first.
Probably not the first. So when we read Deuteronomy 28:66, and it says that you would not feel safe. We understand that the reason that the NFL and the players are kneeling is because of safety issues. We also hear from so many, from the Tamir Rices to Trayvon to any one of them, the police officers always say that they do not feel safe. That is why they shot innocent, unarmed people for non-safety. They run the land, they were the slave owners, they're the oppressors, they're connected and they don't feel safe.
Yeah.
It's called reverse psychology. If somewhere, I'm sure we can find that in the Baconian method somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So let's get to the next part of this. Deuteronomy, can you pull up Deuteronomy 28:49, my brother?
Yes.
Oh, no, actually, can you give me 41?
Deuteronomy 28, verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity.
Who else you know had children go into captivity? As you know, Monday nights is what is a Hebrew. So we coming around here. You know how we do. we mosey on around this mountain, right? It states clearly that in these scriptures, and we go all the way back to the Dead Sea Scrolls. So no, we're not going from Catholicism and what the Vatican says or what the canonized Bible has said. We're going back to Dead Sea Scrolls and even further if we can, right? To authenticate these verses. So it clearly states, even in the Dead Sea Scrolls, that the true people of Israel, the Yahudim, would befall these curses. That's how they would know that they are the Most High's people. Because we know if we start getting to the intellectuals, everybody wants to know, what's your bloodline? Where did you come from? How was you? What tribe did you come from? What's it? The Most High said these curses, right? The Draconian.
It's the Baconian.
The Baconian. Could you explain that to my brother? Because, we're going into the Baconian. Can you break it down to him?
There's a guy that we call Sir Francis Bacon. I always knew I didn't like bacon for a reason.
Can't stand that abomination of food.
Abomination. Sir Francis Bacon was a very wealthy aristocrat, I would call him, that came up with what we call this day the scientific method.
Also the English language and the laws.
And the English language. And he helped to rewrite the King James. But there's a lot of things.
A lot of things, Bacon.
This guy went ahead and did a lot.
Smeared
and he put
that
together a
abomination on
lot
everything.
of groups of the best and brightest in the world, and invited them over to a giant mansion where he wined them, dined them, and got them to produce everything that we use till this day.
Yeah.
From the law books that we use to
the English books that we
English
use,
books that we
the
use,
language that we speak,
the poetry, all the Shakespearean works.
He was the ghostwriter to
He's the
Shakespeare.
ghostwriter for Shakespeare. So
well, I mean, he had a whole group of poets
Yeah.
that they had 40 fireplaces in the York House.
yeah, 40
Google
fireplaces.
the York House and Sir Francis Bacon. Don't believe us.
No.
Google the York House. And isn't it funny that the Masons, the founding Masons come from the York House? And all of my Masonic guys out there, I'm not going to call you brothers no more. We Hebrew brothers before we were ever in a Masonic lodge together. But those brothers, let me be clear. York House, and York House is the pillar of it, right? This is from Sir Francis Bacon, who hates you.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Really does.
hates you. So Sir Francis Bacon, the York House, not only produced our law books, our language, edited the Bible, rewrote and shipped it out under the King James Version, but they also were the leaders of the leaders of the ritual cult, a cult as well, because they started the Masonic lodges. Yeah. All in the York House that Bacon owned and ran.
Yeah. He ran this place for 4 years.
Pimping ain't easy, but somebody got to do it.
40 fireplaces in one place.
Brought the world's finest and brightest.
So that's how you got your scientific method. That's how you got your law books. That's how you got everything that you're reading and learning and you're using against your own people. Sir Francis Bacon.
And if you wonder, because they may tell you when you Google Sir Francis Bacon that he was a good old Catholic. That might make you think that he actually believed in Jesus. Well, he believed in Jesus, all right, but the devil Jesus, see, he was in that time when he knew the difference, the lies, because he was putting those lies out.
Yes.
Okay? So, understand that he believed in Gog. He was, put it like this. There's always the cool kids, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So there's the York House. You got your 40 or so people, fireplaces, which each fireplace could hold 50 to 100, right? So we're giving you numbers in your mind to see how large this was. Sir Francis Bacon was able to cultivate all of these minds to, let me put it like this was a high school. They created high school, and the cool kids was the helmet society.
Society.
So that's your varsity. That's the real clicked up ones. That's the ones that come into
The
class.
Letterman jackets.
Yeah, the Letterman jackets.
You ain't gotta pay attention.
You ain't gotta
Get the
pay
fall sleep in
attention.
class to get an A.
Get an A. You gotta leave early on Fridays for the game. I loved it. It's great days, good days. Anyway, so that was called the Helmet Society. That was the power, the brains of the York House. And what did they believe? The Helmet Society? Their god was Athena. And Athena was Gog. You call him God. Yeah. But anyway, so we say that to say that right now it is absolutely clear that who are the people of the curses. We don't need to get into the scientific method that if we can't prove it, then we can't say it happened. We can't quantify it by Bacon's idea of quantifying it, then it just doesn't exist. And on Friday, we did the difference between faith and the scientific method. So knowing that the scientific method means that you do not have faith. It is the total opposite. They're polar opposites, oxymoron, so to speak. With that, either way, on the proving it, on Bacon's side or the faith side, this book provides us both. We can prove ourselves on either side of the scientific method, which would be going through these curses and saying, how does it apply to my community? Then we have the faith of reading and knowing from our ancestors telling us, and who we the only people that have kept our faith in the Most High, no matter what category it came under. Christian, Muslim, voodoo, whatever it was, we as a people, all over the four corners of the earth, all had a spiritual background, or spiritual base, I guess I can say, a spiritual base, all right? Even if you don't call it the same thing, everyone with a hue, the human race, has a spiritual base that they hearken to. The Roman Empire has no spiritual base. It is about conquest and money. Tonight, we're going to go from understanding the fear and knowing that you are the people, right? We wanted to give you the example of the black mask and the impersonating, because we go through that with cultural appropriation every Wednesday night. But to show you that every place, and since we're letting the Ruach lead us, because we didn't talk about this prior, go into what you learned today, my brother. What did you give me today with the highways and Haiti, and the fact that they went through the black neighborhoods and put highways, so it didn't just happen to us on Claiborne Street. Can you tell me?
There's two places. There's one place in North Carolina called Haiti, North Carolina, and another place in Oklahoma, or Oregon was it? It was Oklahoma called Haiti, Oklahoma as well. Now the place in North Carolina was a very fledgling, it's like a Black Wall Street, right? Same exact thing, just like I'll say Claiborne. Same exact thing. You had a 200 acres of black owned businesses, and guess what the US government did? They built an interstate highway straight through that area. Just like they did in New Orleans, just like they did pretty much everywhere. We were doing it well.
See, because they said after they did the bomb on Wall Street in Oklahoma, the city can't do that again. They can't drop a bomb on its own citizens. So they came up with new ingenuity ways of doing it. They just take the place that's bustling the most because you're on federal land. We're going to drop an interstate right here and disturb all of your business and anything that you have accumulated in the last 20, 30 years to pull yourself up by the bootstraps from slavery.
They built an interstate highway straight through their neighborhood.
But they wasn't done with that, though. I mean, after they did that, then they created the redlining.
Ooh, redlining. It lets white folks know where to go and reminds you that you could only live in a poor area.
And also allowed and tells the bank where and who to loan to. Because see, if you're on the wrong side of the red line, you cannot get those bank loans. You have a much higher criteria in order for you to receive funds. And sometimes it doesn't matter if you meet the criteria. Sorry, we've allocated all the funds for the year.
Yeah.
Wait. I went through all of this, and you tell me you've allocated the funds for the water. You know what I'm saying?
Happens every day to
They
us.
love that one. Oh, they make you jump through the hoops and say, next year, though, thank you for submitting. We really love what we read about you. And then 5 years later, they taking your story or taking your image or taking your idea and they're running with it. It happens all the time. All the time. So, as we just established, Sir Francis Bacon, as the person that believed in the devil, that was believed in Gog, which is part of the Ezekiel 38 and 39 prophecies that we're living right now with China, Russia, Iran, and Syria. We are living this prophecy out right now. And that prophecy says that the Most High is grabbing all of the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, which is Gog. The chief prince of Meshach and Tubal is Gog, a demon, a chief prince demon. All right? So Sir Francis Bacon believed in him. They prayed to them. And then they wrote this language and our laws to subjugate us. Yeah. So we showed you with the black mask that in Deuteronomy 66 that we would have no peace, this proves that we are the people of the Most High. Now, then we went to Deuteronomy 41. We talk about our children going into captivity. Who are the children going into captivity? Yeah, other people like to bring up, the Yugoslavians, that's where the word slave came from. Yugoslavians, the Slavics, slave. First of all, when that happened, that was Hebrews, the tribe of Dan, that became the Phoenicians that clicked up with the Roman Empire and the demons and then switched over to Islam. They enslaved the Yugoslavians.
Yeah.
And in 1593,
These are big facts, y'all.
right, big facts. And then hold up. I'm going to tell you right now.
The Ottoman Empire is known for enslaving the Slavic people.
And we know how much slavery we had since 14. See, we've told you about the slavery that's been happening since 1200. Your history books tell you that slavery started in 1600s, right? Ooh. Well, right here it says it was illegal to have an Islamic slave as of 1523. So the Islam who kicked off the slavery connected with Rome and Spanish and said, we're going to do it together, showed them how to do it and said, but hey, we are immune. Have you ever heard about the snitches being immune when they, if I give up my people, I get immunity, I get to walk?
Happens till this day.
Still a trick that happen in our streets every day. As soon as they grab two men in jail, you tell on him, we'll cut you a deal. We go through it every day.
Plea bargain.
Every day in the hood, they try and split you. Let's go to music. Let's take it out the hood. You got 4 dudes in the band, 3 dudes in the band, 2 dudes in the band. No matter what it is, somebody's going to say that one of them is the hottest one, right? So then you get to the high upper echelon people and they say, man, we see the talent in you. We going to take care of you. We going to do it. But your guys, though,
Can you get rid of them?
no, they don't go that quick. They say they just, the look doesn't really... and then
the brand, we're trying to develop this brand.
And then I don't know if have you got your attorney yet? Did you get your attorney? Well, when you talk to your attorney will tell you this. See, it ain't them giving the bad news. They're saying that someone else is going to give you the bad news. They're just being your friend. See, when you talk to your attorney, he's going to tell you got to split it 4 ways. And your royalties, after we put up the money for it, then your money, then they tell you about the long road to getting your money. Then you think about once you get that money, you got to split it between so many people. Oh, next thing you know, you're coming up with the analogy. Look, guys, I'm going to go ahead and do this, and I'm going to come back and get y'all. With the money I make, I'm going to go ahead and get your album out.
It's never worked.
Because the fix was in from the beginning. They just needed you to split from your strength.
Michael Jackson couldn't even do it for the Jackson 5, and he's one of the wealthiest musicians that ever lived. Ladies and gentlemen, you ain't bringing the band back.
You ain't
about to
bringing the
get
band
caught
back.
up in Gog land, and your whole complexion's about to switch up
Yeah.
to serve Gog properly.
Serve God properly. So we're bringing up all of this information about who we are, how they divide us, because the major divide is coming. Would you read? Now, the breaking news, right? We're gonna get into the breaking news, right? China lands on the dark side of the moon.
Ooh, Pink Floyd talked about that.
And didn't they? Didn't they? They landed on the dark side of the moon and announced it 2 days before the Blood Wolf Moon.
Coincidence?
Coincidence?
Not likely. Chinese are pretty accurate.
See, we trying to get y'all to stop playing chess. I mean, stop playing checkers, because they playing chess.
Chinese chess.
Yeah, at that. Okay? Y'all looking at this political USA playing board. You know what I'm saying? How you can get another black president. How you can get another black representative. These boys is making global moves in pieces.
Yeah. They buying up universities in America.
China, you know their language is Mandarin, right? I don't know if y'all know, right? But China's language is Mandarin. Guess what? Africa.
Africa.
Guess what the language of their school systems from kindergarten on up? Mandarin. You know how that happened? Chinese came in and said, look, we're going to buy all your school. We'll rebuild everything. Y'all want to get rid of the colonial British? Yeah, we don't like them neither. Y'all ready to come up? We going to cut a deal with you, Africa. We going to slide you a couple of billions with a B, baby. They ain't playing with no million, with a B, baby.
Billion.
China rolled up on Africa and said, look, I'm going to help you get rid of your oppressor. I'm going to help you rebuild your schools, get you some hospitals, get y'all right. Because, see, once you get strong, then you can really attack them and take back all your land. Africa said, yeah, I like that. They said, China said, but hold up. Because we're giving all this money, we just need the language, because we're going to be doing business for the rest of our lives. Like, we're going to help you get out of this. We family now, Africa. We right here at the next doorstep. We neighbors. So we just going to have the language, our language, be your school language, so that we can all communicate together. Because in Africa, you got so many nations and different languages. And in order for you guys to really make it, you got to have some uniformity to build. Did you feel the tip going? Did you feel the tip going?
Oh, it's in there.
Right? So now Africa, motherland, their language in the school systems is Mandarin.
True story.
They're in the midst. They bought half of California already, if not all of California. Y'all don't remember a couple of years ago when they bought a big piece during the Obama administration that Britain, the king, had to write a letter saying that China can't buy no more because America can't sell Britain's land. Oh, yeah, that happened.
Y'all didn't realize that?
Y'all didn't know that. Yeah. Because, see, Obama and them, they had got past that. They was like, okay, look, we can get the land, bro, because we ain't going to change the language. Nah. That ain't going to happen. But you know, let's work this trade thing out. I want y'all to see how we got to where we are. And if you think that China just landed on the dark side of the moon when they announced it, we got a bridge to sell you. It's right here. It's really big and pretty. They call it the Huey P, but we're going to rename it after you. We just expanded it a couple of lanes a couple of years ago, but it is up for sale. You know what I'm saying?
It's for sale, y'all.
You know what I'm saying? Let me get real slick when you call up the place and they say the bridge not for sale. It's a federal thing. No, we're not selling the bridge. We're selling the naming rights to the bridge. We can rename it from Huey P to your name. Yeah. That's what we're talking about. That's how they move the goalposts.
That's exactly what the scientific method is. That's exactly what the Chinese are doing right now. That's the same thing that they did with the black churches.
They told the black churches when they bombed them in the South, after they bombed all of our black churches when we were getting ourselves together. See, they didn't just bomb Oklahoma, they bombed all the churches across the South. Why across the South, Oba? They had black people in the North.
Yeah, but the South inhabited all of the indigenous black people to the United States.
Was that it?
They gotta get you at the root. You know
Yeah,
what
they
I
get
mean?
you at the road.
The North is just where everybody went to. You know, like my family's from way down south.
Yeah.
We went all the way up north to Connecticut. We ain't from no damn Connecticut. We from
80,
South.
80, way down south.
Yeah.
Right before Brazil. You know what I'm saying? So, if we understand that they bombed this area the most, and slavery has been concentrated here the most, we know that the devil goes where God, the Most High's people is, because that's where he needs to take over, right? If you go on the wall, you're going to where they at. We've proven that through blackmasking.org, shameless plug, blackmasking.org. We give you the history of us before colonialism. Yes, we do. We tell you. Anyway, so point being is that you can follow and you can see clearly who have been going through these curses. They bombed the black church and said, guess what? We will rebuild all your churches, but we need one thing. For you go home and smack your mama. No, that's not what they said. They said, go home and rip up all of your bank receipts. Y'all bank that you were doing with your people that was making
The Freedmen's Banks?
The Freedmen's Banks, the ones that was empowering your community economically. When everybody asked the question, why can't our black people get our stuff together? Well, here's your information. You never have to ask that question again. The reason why black people cannot get together is because we don't have our own banks. And when those banks do erect and have a black person's name on it, they are adhering to the laws of Britain. So they are confound to the laws of the land. Before the bombings, these banks were not FDIC insured because they weren't part of the government. They were part of the community. We loaned each other money off interest that we got back into our community. They could not have that. So when they bombed the churches, which was the stronghold of the community, because that's where the Most High was, they said you got to put all of your money in our banks and we'll rebuild it for free.
Yep.
And these pastors that wanted to reach out to their people as fast as they could and have them feel the spirit in some form or fashion. Some of them didn't want to do it. Some sold out happily and fast. Because also coming with them rebuilding the churches was the nonprofit aspect of monitoring your money. And in order to be a nonprofit, you have to fall under their guidelines of America, and that's believing in the white Jesus, Caesar Borgia. It is a tangled web, but it is a true web. It is the absolute truth. Anyone that can tell me otherwise, we ask that you please speak up. Speak up for your church. Speak up for the process. Because when we speak against your church, we're not speaking against the people, your friends in that church, or people that you found loved ones and great times with. We're speaking of the system behind it and what it created you to be. A person that does not pick up the Torah, a person that does not seek his face, that does not go past their lives of Sir Francis Bacon. That is where we are. Like my sister Tamara said, there is a Messiah, baby. Yes, there is a Messiah. And we are the Yahudim. We are his people that he is coming for. So when we bring up China, would you read the scripture, brother? 66.
Yes, indeed.
To give you more about this China thing.
Deuteronomy 28.
66.
This one right here, the same one?
Yeah. Oh, no. I thought it was.
Right.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Verse 50 through 52. Actually, verse 49 to 52. And the Most High shall bring a nation against thee from far,
From far.
from the end of the earth.
From the end of the earth. Wait, where is China compared to the Western Hemisphere of the Americas?
Far east.
Far
The end.
east. He says he will bring you an enemy from the far east. China has burned all the Bibles. That way they were doing that for years and persecuting anyone there that was trying to speak of spirit. Get out the mindset of the white Jesus and the Bible. They were crushing the spirit of the Ruach HaKodesh in their people.
Yes, they were.
And anyone that tried to stand up and say anything other than Tao or Taoism, because Taoism and Taoism is the introspection of thyself, meaning that you give a care about no one else. It is the introspection of yourself and how great you are. That's Taoism and Taoism. It is jacking off to yourself.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do about building communities. It has nothing about building other people. It says that you have the knowledge and people should bow to you because you have knowledge. That is the Tao, and that is the Tao. So anyone that was speaking other than that, they were persecuting them. But the Vatican, the Pope, has just cut a fire deal with China. Just like Trump cut that fire deal with Saudi, right? Forget the fact that they murked somebody that was on your team. Don't worry about that.
Just numbers.
We're talking about 300 to 450 million to $1 billion from the Saudis, man. This is a deal. It's a deal.
And everybody forgot about the guy. Like, what happened to that guy?
See, when they speak, when us as the civil rights people used to promote, if there's injustice anywhere, there's injustice everywhere. Everywhere. On this MLK Day, right? The Ruach is on me, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm driving down the street, and this van is passing out. It was in the MLK parade, and they got all of our black figures on it. You know, all the people that we should look up to as our community, as pillars or examples of our greatness. And they had obviously MLK, and they had Obama, and they had Mandela. Pretty sad. Pretty sad. I know this may be delicate on this day, right? MLK was thrust into a position. I have nothing bad to say about the man. There's enough already been said about the man. If you ask me, I'm more of a Malcolm X doctrine than anything, even though he was Muslim. I'm more of a
Jerome Smith kind of guy.
Yes, thank you. A no bow kind of guy, you know? But when the only examples we have of greatness in our community, Europeans or our government has set them up, stole their friends. See, y'all just see the fact that he had a speech. Y'all don't even listen to the last speech where he said that we were here before they came. Y'all don't even register that. Y'all say, I ain't Indian. Well, who was here before they came if he says we were here? My problem is not with his speeches and truth that he gave when he talked about the redlining that we just discussed tonight. When Martin just told you that they gave land grants to foreigners to come to America to take your land, and they gave them universities to teach them how to do agriculture. After you taught their teachers how to plant and farm here. Martin Luther King told you that. Y'all don't hear that. Y'all just hear about us little white boys and little white girls
Have a drink.
sitting down one day. That's the speech he gave for the world at the monument. The love and peace. But the ones who was at the church with his people, the one right before he knew he was about to get popped and he was up there speaking to his people, check that speech out. Listen to that speech and not the one that the government gives you to learn and hear and listen to so that you can be submissive to them, I guess, you know. But
That's what it is.
out of all of those people, and Obama and all you, Obama stopped you from being able to claim your indigenous rights.
Pass the law.
He passed the law. Obama passed so many laws that were not good for you so that he didn't seem like he was on your side, that all you black people said, you know what, he's giving a good example. Well, they had 43 presidents before him that kicked us in our ass. And now he is supposed to show the example of how it's supposed to be done. Well, he did. And what did they do? They gave you Trump next. And you want to make him, put him in and replace your white Jesus? Might as well. He the same god doggone thing. But that's not what tonight's about. Tonight's about what is a Hebrew. So we're showing you that not only did the Most High tell you that you are Hebrew and that you would afflict these things until you came back to him, because as long as you're in the Wiccan, as long as you're in Islam, as long as you're in Catholicism, as long as you're in Methodist, as long as you're in Seventh-day Adventist, as long as you playing, he ain't hearing you. And he also tells you where your enemy is going to come from. And if that doesn't match China today, because you can't say your enemy is the one that has the ability to oppress you. Let me tell you what an enemy is, all right? An enemy ain't the one that's smacking you, that you laying down to smack too, because right now, as black people in America, we laying down taking a D. You ain't nobody fighting. Y'all trying to negotiate. Politics.
Are they wondering how they're being attacked from afar? Let me help you.
Come on.
The fabric that you wear is tainted and poisoned, and it comes from China.
The food. Come on, hit him with that
The food that you eat is completely poisoned and completely tainted and is full of genetically modified organisms and is straight out of China.
Africa got a big old shipment of chicken and shipped it back to China because it already had maggots in it when it got there.
Mm-hmm. Same thing happened. Over 200,000 pounds of chicken was checked out in California, and it turned out that it was rat meat. It actually wasn't even chicken.
Wasn't even chicken.
And it was straight out of China.
Straight out of
Yeah,
China.
yeah. And they could take a certain meat and turn it into another meat with this special liquid. They just let the other meat sit inside of it for a while.
Yeah.
So they'll sell you pork. They'll sell you something that's called chicken, but it's actually pork. They just let it sit in their solution, and then it turned into that, right?
Yeah.
That's just the food, and that's just the clothes. The toys that you let your kids play on and chew on,
Suck
and
on.
when they're growing up, all that, it's poison.
With lead.
Completely poisoned. It's been poisoned for over 40, 50 years coming from China.
You know how we know it's poison with lead? Because the beads that you use for Mardi Gras that you guys are going to be throwing, we, as New Orleans only, gives $500 million in beads to China every year. We buy $500 million worth of beads from China every year.
Every year.
And it takes
One
this city 200 to 300 million to clean up the beads and to clean out the sewer and to clean the water filtration, because the paint on those beads have lead poisoning. And the actual beads are made of petroleum, and when that decomposes, it goes into our plant and sea life and lake life and kills and contaminates our fish that we eat. Then in turn kills us as well, even when we think we're running from the chicken and we got the fish.
Yep. Oh, it's not over yet. For the ladies, all of your makeup, the vast majority of it is manufactured in China, so it's completely toxic, unless it says that clearly made here, and it's not. It's most likely made in China. What else? The hair, the weave that we to put on our hair. My beautiful queens that don't actually need it, you better off being bald. Yeah, because it'll grow back healthy, at least in real. All of those weaves are completely toxic, and the vast majority either come from India or China. Either way, it's straight poison.
Straight poison. These eggplants, Chinese eggplants, they aren't even purple. They drop them in a purple paint, lift them out, and they are now purple.
Yo, if you're wondering how they're killing you from afar, oh, it's easy.
And y'all are worried about Putin. Putin already know his position. They ain't even your enemy. You would know your enemy was if you read scripture.
He sends his family in there. If you guys don't know, that's the one place, the part of the world where China and Russia comes together and they live together. So who's brave enough to move into a black neighborhood, open up a restaurant and take all your money? Who's brave enough to move into a black neighborhood, open up a hair care spot and take all your money?
Don't care how ignorant you come in there about your change.
I don't care.
That. And you don't go them with half the money, do you?
Dog. Yeah, right. They ain't taking half the money. They take 100% of the money. And they will not be building anything in your hood anytime soon. Never have, never will.
No.
Eat that Chinese food though. Them rib tips.
Yeah,
That's their
rib
favorite
tips.
thing to cook is the rib tips. Spare rib tips.
Spare rib tips. You love them. Number cat ribs.
Meow.
Yeah. So,
If you're wondering how they're doing it, it's a team effort. Confederate effort.
yes. So what is a Hebrew? A Hebrew is a beautiful, beautiful place of mind, body, and soul. To know that you have refuge over all these things that we just listed. And we do. We don't have any fear of that. We don't have any concerns about the Far East, the Chinese, them cutting this channel off, them copying us on Facebook. Bruh, the fix is in. The only thing that we are concerned about is our orderly steps in the Most High so that He can save us. Because there's not amount of food, there's not enough guns, there's nothing that we can do to fight China.
No way.
When your government can't, when your government then sold you out
It continues to.
and continues to, you know, why we so hard on this, why we talking this, is because the truth is so unnerving that we want to tell everybody, give everybody an opportunity to just have an ear to hear and an eye to see that these are perilous times, but not as perilous as they're going to be. And that you need to be getting your soul, your temple, knowing who you are so no one can tell you that you're something else. That's the biggest thing. Every Monday night, we try to reinforce that you are Hebrew.
Yes.
You fit the curses. You're going through the problems. You might as well get the reward.
Got to.
It would be horrible for you to go through these curses because you can't get around them. We are in them. We are living every day in these curses. It's a shame to go through these curses and then die and never have the glory.
Come on.
Never get the rewards. Or even get the rewards here. Yahweh Shai said through his words, you have everlasting life. We got everlasting life over here. Everybody got trials and tribulations, emotions and situations. But for the most part, I'm going to say it like this because I ain't trying to play with the Most High. Everything is good. I'm going to say the most everything good over here. Everything.
I think it's a choice for us. Instead of going through the curses, we are growing through the curses. Because you grow through wisdom and knowledge and understanding and studying to show thyself approved. And once you start setting yourself apart, people are going to give you information.
Yes.
I went to a majority white university in Connecticut. One of the people running the university pulled me to the side, like, man, I know you love to study. Guess what? That new science building we have, China is the one that owns it. They bought it. They bought the whole land. They own the entire building. And they're sending their kids from China here at a tiny cost. Because they knew that I was into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Are you into that stuff? Is somebody going to say,